Yo, what's up? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 signs you may be ready to quit alcohol. Yo, welcome to Sobriety University. This channel, we design videos to help you navigate your spiritual awakening journey, your sobriety journey, getting clean from substances, and just kind of talking about some of the ups and downs that come with getting clean and sober, because there's a lot of them. So today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 things that could tell you that you may be ready to quit using alcohol. There's a lot of different signs. We're just going to cover a few of them today, some of the most obvious ones. These were, for me, some of the big ones that kind of made me realize, like, okay, maybe it's time to give this up. And for others as well that I've been in contact with have kind of shared some of the same stuff. So number 1 is it doesn't work. Like, I get drunk every time. Well, if you remember back to the very first time you started using and kind of that euphoric bliss you got, maybe now it's just not there, and that's kind of like a good sign. Like, I know for me, like, the kind of excitement and happiness would kind of keep getting narrower and narrower. That window of like feeling good when I started drinking would get smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually I wouldn't really feel happy at all, and I'd be the guy in the corner just kind of wanting to get out of there and go smoke weed or something. And that was kind of a big sign for me that, okay, it's time to give this up. Number 2 is you just want something more for your life. Maybe you have some big plans, some career goals and some visions, and just kind of seeing that, like, the way I'm operating, the way I feel after a night of drinking, the way I interact with people on a day-to-day basis is just not really in line with who I want to be, where I want to be. Maybe you even have gotten like to where you want to be in terms of career and stuff, or relationships, and just kind of seeing like it wasn't as special as I thought it was. I'm not connecting with these people as well as I know I could be. And that might be a sign that the alcohol is kind of like holding you down a little bit, holding you back a couple levels. And if you just were to let it go, you could start, like, really expressing yourself, being your true self, really connecting on a deeper level to people than just kind of like the surface day-to-day, hey, how you doing, kind of interaction stuff, and really start forming those deep connections. Alcohol definitely can be a bit of a suppressant in that regard. So number 2 is to kind of look at your life and see where you want to go, and see if alcohol does align with those values. I can't say that for everyone, like, alcohol doesn't work. There's definitely people that have a great career and just like it's a part of their social aspects, even business and stuff. So it's definitely not like you can't drink if you want a successful career. It's just kind of saying that for some people, especially that have addictive personalities, that it just might not work out very well. So that was number 2. Number 3 is you don't enjoy it, and this kind of ties into one a little bit, just kind of like feeling depressed. I know alcohol is a suppressant, and for me it really like kind of kicked up my depression. I didn't know why, because I was like surrounded by a bunch of people having fun, and it just seemed like those are the people that alcohol was really working with, and just they were having a time of their lives, and I was just like, I would try, and of course it just felt so fake and so false, and I was just like so sick of it. And I felt the best when I actually wasn't drinking. I could connect with people a lot more. Like, I love going out to eat with people, and that was like a great thing I could do when I wasn't hammered. And just had like kind of deep conversations and stuff like that. And that only really started to happen more when I finally gave up the booze and started focusing on a life of recovery and sobriety. And that just might be something to consider as well, like how much joy is this bringing you, and that's always a good gauge for anything in our life, like whether it's working or not. There's this like teacher, and he says, like, why would we work hard when we can work joyfully? And that really stood out to me, because most of my life whenever I want something, I've worked really hard at it, and it's just kind of left me burnt out and depressed and angry and unhappy. And hearing that was like, oh, maybe like I can get the same results or even better results if I choose to work at something that makes me feel good. It's kind of some old school programming that maybe our parents had, like the work hard, gotta be a man culture. It's just kind of like we're kind of drifting out of that. So that was number 3. Number 4 is relationships and or friendships are starting to break down. Uh, yeah, this is a pretty, it's one of the harder ones to accept, I think, because when we have a deep relationship with someone, we really want to hold on to it and kind of nurture it. And usually, for me anyway, whenever I've met someone, there's been like a honeymoon phase where I've like really enjoyed their company and like I want to spend more time with them and all that. And yeah, after a while, it just when I was using and stuff, I was just like, and even now sometimes, especially when I was using though, I just like after a while, I just couldn't connect. There's just no spirit anymore to want to invest in the person, and it just kind of kept building up and building up, and over time, I just had too many relationships uh, based off like drugs and alcohol that just kind of were only that based on drugs and alcohol. I think another kind of obvious one is like if we're in a relationship with someone and like yeah, I mean typically like the drinking, like we're unavailable, emotionally unavailable, we get angry a lot, we're kind of mean, we maybe you hurt your partner physically or verbally. Those are some pretty obvious signs, and we kind of hear that story a lot about the typical alcoholic dad that comes home and just neglects his kids or beats his wife and all that. And it can be reversed too. There can be the woman alcoholic and the martyr man. Like it's not gender specific. Just in that story, it's just kind of like I think what we hear a lot of in like mainstream culture about just like an alcoholic father beating his kids, and I think if any of those signs are present, it's time to take a look at it because I know it can really hurt the kids long term down the line. It totally built up a ton of shame in the person who's doing it, and it just has like a ripple effect out to everyone. And yeah, with friendships too, it can be the same thing. Just kind of maybe like being the same way towards friends and just kind of using friends for pleasure and not really like caring about them or being super selfish. Self-centeredness is a huge quality of addiction and something that we really work hard on once we get into recovery to like kind of undo those habits. And we'll definitely discuss self-centeredness in a later video because I think it's a really deep topic and it's hard sometimes to balance like the giving and the being selfish, because it's like you can't really give unless you're selfish, and you can't because you have to fill your own cup first, and you can't really, and you're not really that selfish when you're giving. So it's just like finding that like the nirvana in that, and it can be tough. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. We'll go on to number 5 here, and that is you're getting into trouble. Yeah, this one's kind of another sign that yeah, I'm starting to lose my bearings a little bit. This is a good one. This one happened to me a lot. After my freshman year of college, when I started drinking, came home for the summer, and kid you not, the first day we got back, my friend lived on a golf course, and we like got together and we started partying and drinking, and we were running around the golf course, and we got arrested. Like the neighbors called because we were making too much noise and got a drinking ticket. Blew like a .00 like 4 or something, so like right over the legal limit, and it was like a $300 ticket. And of course, I was like broke at the time, so that was a lot of money. And that was the first night coming back from school, and it's just, and then subsequently, the last weekend, I think it was like a Saturday night before I was going back to college on Monday for the sophomore semester, we were at a party. We come home and get pulled over and got another drinking ticket. It was just like, it was just, that wasn't enough for sure. Like that was definitely like, it was like, oh, I'm gonna look what happened to me and all that. But really, it was just kind of sign like from the universe saying like, dude, like please stop. Just this isn't for you. This isn't for you, because both times I blew like a really tiny amount and got like a huge fine, and it was just like kind of like a at the time I didn't think the punishment fit the crime. It totally did. However, it was just like I wasn't like blasted drunk, so I kind of thought like it was just one of those weird things where I was just like, it was just very subtle, and I couldn't see it. Later down the line, before I quit actually using, got in a lot of trouble with with illegal substances and selling and stuff, and had some really serious consequences present themselves if I didn't like fix my act. And the last night I used drugs or alcohol was I was at a park, and it was like 10 o'clock, and I was using the Wi-Fi that was connected to the building system that they had, and the lot I guess closed at 10, so I was there at like 10:15, and the cop comes, and I had weed in my car and I was smoking, and I sprayed like this spray to kind of cover up the smell, and he goes away, writes the ticket, comes back. It was like 10 minutes, and hands me the ticket. He like turns to walk away. He's like, "Do I smell weed?" And I was like, "Yep, yes you do." So I got another ticket there, and that was just like, it was kind of similar to like the drinking ones, where it was just like, it was just like one of those like coincidental things, I guess, maybe, or I was so close to getting away with it, but nope, I still got in trouble. So that was my wake up. I haven't smoked or drank since, and so trouble can be a kind of an indicator on maybe when it's time to stop for you, and for anyone. And maybe you don't got to get there. Like, that's kind of like, I think when people can just quit on their own for their own merit, it's pretty special. And yeah, you don't got to get DUIs or arrests or bar fights or any of that stuff. It just can be wanting to do it for the sake of wanting to do it. For those that are getting in trouble, I totally empathize. Like, there's a lot of consequences that come with alcohol, because it just totally numbs their brain, and a lot of things, like people get into fights a lot. See people like get into accidents and car crashes and stuff, and those are some of the more serious ones. And you can even go far as like really hurting people by accident in like a drunk driving thing, or something like that, or getting drunk and falling off a bridge. I've heard that story as well, and it's just kind of like something that we can step away from, and we don't have to let it affect us that much. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the content, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can always opt out anytime. We do have one-on-one coaching where we can kind of go over some of this stuff, talk more in depth, get you a plan ready for those that are not ready for the in-person stuff, or even want to go down that route. This is definitely another option as well. So feel free to email me in the description, and we can talk scheduling and all that, and get to work. So again, thank you so much. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. We're going to be talking about marijuana, kind of going down that path, and kind of seeing like, yeah, signs it might be time to quit marijuana, and like why marijuana can be addicting and all that. So yeah, so we're going to be talking about how to quit marijuana and change your life. So see you in the next one. Thank you. Peace.